Hi, I'm Randall. I'm with KravMagaTraining.com. In this video, Krav Maga Fundamentals video, I'm going to go over the benefits of slow motion training. Here's the thing with Krav Maga trainers: we really emphasize quick, fast, explosive, aggressive movements. Super important, very important element to be able to finish stuff successfully. However, we can't train like that all the time. There are a lot of benefits to training slow, and I want to discuss that. First benefit is I like to do slow motion training as a functional warm-up. The key word being functional. Right now, some places they'll have you do a bunch of jumping jacks, hop down, do a bunch of push-ups, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. I personally don't like that shit. If I want to do a 1 hour self-defense lesson, I want that full hour to be self-defense training. Nothing wrong with doing fitness workouts. We have separate fitness programs for that. But if my student is doing a 1 hour lesson on self-defense or a class, I want that whole lesson to be based off self-defense training. So that way we're making better use of our time. So for example, if I'm going to do a lesson where I'm going to do a lot of punching, the best, most functional warm-up for that is to practice slow motion punching to get our body loosened up for that. If we plan on doing a lot of knees and kicks in the lesson, let's do a lot of slow knees and kicks. If we're going to be doing a lot of groundwork that day, maybe we can do some slow drills on the ground, like bridging, shrimping, get-ups. If we're doing takedown defenses, nice easy sprawls. But the point being is the most functional way to warm up for any activity is to do that activity, just do it slower. And the secondary benefit of doing that is you get more repetition in that particular technique, so we're making better use of our time skill-wise. The next benefit of training in slow motion is gives you a chance also to evaluate how your body feels or to work around any injuries. So say I come to class, maybe my shoulders bother me a little bit. Well, let's practice using that shoulder a little bit, but we have to do it slow to make sure it feels okay. It's not to make the injury worse. And it'll give me a chance to evaluate how my shoulder feels. If my shoulder feels okay while I'm doing it slow, great. Now I'll gradually pick up the speed. Maybe after a certain point I start punching a little faster, I'm like, ooh, that shoulder still bothers me. So that gives me some feedback on maybe how far I should push the workout that day. Or if it's still bothering me, even when I'm training slow, maybe I should just skip doing punches or anything else that aggravates that particular injury. So in that case, it allows us to prevent injuries, it evaluates how our injuries are. And also I like to do slow motion training for people who are injured because that way they don't have to skip their workout, they don't have to skip their lessons. I'd rather have a student get in a light workout than miss the workout at all. So a lot of times I'll have students say, hey, this is hurting me, this is bothering me, blah, blah, blah. I'll say, why don't you come on in, do the lesson, but we'll just do it slowly that day. So that way we'll still make good use of your time, we'll still learn some skills, but we're not gonna make your injury worse. So like I said, a light workout is better than no workout. So it's a great way to evaluate any injuries you might have or to work around those potential injuries. Next benefit of slow motion training is anytime you learn a new technique, start slow so you don't develop bad habits. So here's an example. Let's say we're working on the jab cross. Real common mistake if people are going right into a full bore and they're not used to, they're first new to this technique, is they'll throw the jab cross and they're so focused on hitting hard the cross. Common error, people drop the opposite hand. Well, if I tell people to slow down, then they can take their time and really focus on developing good habits. And once you develop a bad habit, it's very hard to break. So ideally, if we train slow, anytime we learn a new technique from the very beginning, we can prevent those bad habits as much as possible, which can accelerate your learning curve in the long run a lot more. And finally, the last benefit to slow motion training is anytime you need to make corrections, you need to slow it down. So that same example of the jab cross, common mistake, people drop the hand down. I will tell them, hey, make sure you snap that hand back. Some people, even when they're doing it full speed, they'll get it. But other people, even when they're going fast, and I tell them to fix that, they're still making this mistake. So I have to make them slow down to make that correction. So anytime you're having trouble with a technique and you need to correct it, slow it down. Not just for the technical reasons behind it, but also prevent injuries that way. Because if you are doing the technique incorrectly, not only is it might be a flaw when it comes to your self-defense and fighting skills, but also if you're not careful, depending on the type of technique it is, especially like kicks, which involve a lot of motions, standing on one leg. If you don't do it correctly, you could also injure yourself. So it's very important, anytime you need to make a correction, slow it down, and it'll be a lot easier to fix those problems technically as well as for injury prevention. Anyways, honestly, I could go on and on with this video, but you guys get the point of the benefits of slow motion training. So use it, do it, fix corrections, don't develop bad habits. It's a functional warm-up. It allows you to evaluate any injuries you might have or teach you how to work around it. But there's so many benefits to slow motion training. Take advantage of it. Do it as much as possible. Obviously, we need to train hard, we need to train aggressively, you need to go full power sometimes, but don't neglect the other side of that coin. Slow motion training is where it's at. All right, guys, thanks for watching this Krav Maga Fundamentals video. See y'all next time.